Okay, this is a tutorial video on how to get started with a Raspberry Pi and a capacitive touchscreen. So these are kits that I've put together for you that should have everything needed to get everything up and running. It's really important that you follow the instructions closely for this. These kits are fairly expensive and they are easy to mess up. So we're going to get started by opening up the kit. And the first thing that you're going to see on the inside is your 7-inch capacitive touchscreen. So we'll go ahead and kind of take that and put that to the side. And then underneath that are going to be all the tools that you'll need to get it up and running. So we've got a USB cable, we've got an HDMI cable, a power cable, another power cable, our Raspberry Pi, and I've gone ahead and I have installed Raspbian, the operating system that runs on it. You'll need to take this SD card that has it installed on it and put it into this SD slot. We'll talk about that in a second. We've got a screwdriver and 2 different kinds of screws. And we've got a USB power block and a stylus. All right, so to get started, we're going to open up our screen, and this does have the protected film on it. You're going to want to leave that on until you are kind of completely done with your project. But we're going to flip this over and orient it so that portable display is here at the top. Now the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to mount the Raspberry Pi to this this display here. You're going to want to orient it this way with the USB ports coming out this side. And then there are 4 small screws that come with it. And you can line those up. And you want to make sure that you have these snug, but don't over tighten. You can actually crack the board that way, and that would not be a good idea. Okay, and so we can get those snugged up along here. All right, so that's looking good. So we've got that on nice and tight. So let's go ahead, and the next thing that we're going to do is a little bit of a tricky part. This is going to take just a lot of finesse, and that's getting our HDMI cable plugged into the actual touchscreen. And so here you'll see there's a connector and there's a little black plastic piece right here that holds everything down. And so you're going to want to go in with your fingernail and apply just some gentle pressure. It's easy to break, so you got to go really easy on it. But you're going to kind of pop that out. Okay. And then you're going to take your connector piece here, and with this there's a side that has metallic contacts, and you're going to want that to be facing down. And so you'll take that and slide it in, and again, be gentle, but push it in as far as it will go. And then you're going to replace this black plastic piece that's going to serve as a crimp to make sure that it's held down nice and tight. And again, you want to be, forceful, but don't go overkill on it, because it will break, and that is not good. Okay, so that's in nice and tight. So, okay, at this point then, we're ready to go ahead and plug the HDMI portion of this into the Raspberry Pi. And you may have to be thoughtful about making sure you don't kink the cable too much. Okay, but it'll be a tight fit. Okay. Now at that point then, we are ready to give power to the touchscreen. And to do that, we're going to take this little piece here. Now we're going to connect it to this area here that says 5V plus touch. These do only go in one way, and so make sure that they are lined up nicely. And they should just slide right in if you get them oriented the right direction. So, and then these get plugged into one of the USB ports, like so. Okay. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add power to the board. Now this is where things get a little tricky, and so you want to really make sure you take your time to get these in the right spot. Otherwise, you will fry the Raspberry Pi. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come up to these header pins, and we're going to go to the top left, and we're going to take one of the reds and put it in the very top left. We're going to take another one and put it right next to it in the second pin on the top left. And then we're going to take the ground one and plug that in right next to it. So we're all along this top row. We've got red, red, black. Okay, again, coming over here, and there's only one way that this should plug in. We can come over here to the power connector and snap that in right there. And then what's left is adding in this little micro SD card. Okay, and it's going to come in over here in this little slot, and notice how these gold pins are facing up. And you can just slide that right into the SD card reader on that side. Okay, at this point, we're going to power it up and see if it works. Okay, so we'll plug in our power brick. Okay, and for this, it's going to get plugged into the Raspberry Pi power in part right here. Okay, so we'll plug that in, flip this over, and see if it works. All right, so you'll notice that it automatically loads the Hackberry Lab homepage. We're going to be changing this later on to automatically load your projects page, but this is just to show you how we can actually get it to log right into a website for us, so that it's just going to act just like a kiosk. And so you notice that you can kind of scroll and touch, you can drag everything around. And so, yeah, at this point it's good. Now, when you are kind of configuring things, you can go and plug a mouse and a keyboard into the back of this. When you're working with it with your users, then they'll just be able to touch and navigate around your page. Okay, so that leaves a couple of things left. The question is, what are these 4 screws for? And so these are your mounting screws that you're going to use to mount it into your kiosk. They'll go through these 4 holes in the corners here. And then if you want to incorporate the stylus into your design, you're certainly welcome to. It's not a requirement. It is sensitive to fingers and to the stylus, and so that's just an added option for you. And so again, just take your time, take care with these screens, and just be really careful with them. We will need them back, so each group has their name on the box, so we can make sure that we get them all back in full working order, but that'll get you started. And like I said, we'll include instructions on how to navigate around on these to change up the home page. But for the meantime, that's it.